Hello VC, hope all is well. Just having a nice glass of Baileys on this Friday evening. Oh, listening to a bit of jazz. Right, this episode we'll be looking into soundtracks and my soundtrack collection. Start off with then the 50s, High Society, Frank Sinatra. I have this absolute classic. I bought this in London about a couple of years ago. I was going record shopping up there, and that's The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. Fantastic soundtracks, perhaps one of the best ever made. I've also got A Fistful of Dollars, which was the second film. That was the third, of course. And I got this version. This is by Leroy Holmes. Not the original orchestra, but yeah, this will do until I get something a bit better, and that's for a few dollars more. That's the second one. Sorry, that's the second one. That's the first. I found this in a charity shop a while ago. 2001 Space Odyssey. I think this is the second one I found. I found one before this which was a bit beat up, and I found this one which is quite very, very good actually. So bit of an upgrade copy. This is a classic soundtrack, The Graduate. Classic film, classic soundtrack. Same again, Midnight Cowboy, classic film, classic soundtracks. Probably one of my top 5 movies ever made. Midnight Cowboy, brilliant film, absolutely brilliant film. Paint Your Wagon, yep, I've got this Clint Eastwood classic musical. It's got the #1 song on here, Wandering Star. So yeah, glad to have that. This one is full of 50s. The movie I believe came out in the 60s. Richard Dreyfuss was in it. American Graffiti. Yeah, a bit of a classic this one. It is literally packed full of 50s hits. Good one to pick up if you can. This is a classic musical, Grease. Yeah, not a big fan of the film as such, but the soundtrack's pretty good. You know, they've got a few on here which I like. Where is it? Somewhere in here. It's actually 2 discs, 2 records in here, so it's packed full of tunes. Moving on anyway. Rocky 2. Yeah, big fan of the Rockies, and I found this one for like, I don't know, £1 or something, and yeah, picked it up. Yeah, good old Sylvester Stallone. Saturday Night Fever, classic 70s disco soundtrack featuring the Bee Gees. Neil Diamond, jazz singer. Good album actually this is. There's quite a few good tracks on here. Hello Again, America. They're all songs my mum had on tape. This is a good film which I must have watched hundreds of times as a kid. Buddy Holly Story, starring Gary Busey. Yeah, I saw this and had to get it, and I think it was an eBay purchase. I think I come across it on eBay, and yeah, snapped it up. Love that film. 80s classic, Dirty Dancing. Yeah, I've got this, and I've also got more Dirty Dancing, the second volume on the back there. So yeah, that's it's a mix of sort of 80s and 60s on here. So good soundtrack, very good. Another very good soundtrack of the 80s, Top Gun. It's got that one, Berlin, Take My Breath Away. So yeah, I think I found that this was my second Top Gun find in the thrift stores. This version was a bit better than my other one, so yeah, kept this one. I've got two of these, the Lost Boys. I found one in a record shop and in a charity shop, so I've got two copies of this, the Lost Boys. And yeah, it's a pretty good soundtrack to pick up if you can find it. It's got lots of different artists on here, Elton John, who's else on here, Roger Daltrey, Echo and the Bunnymen. This was a charity shop find, Bruce Willis, Return of Bruno. Not actually seen this or heard this, but yeah, I will give it a listen at some point. This is a nice soundtrack, Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yeah, it's a nice sort of soft, quite sad sort of soundtrack really, because it's sort of done over the character's brother dying. So it's got a bit of that sort of sad nostalgia sound to it, but still very good. Like it a lot. Good film actually. Classic 80s film, Chariots of Fire. My dad had this on VHS, and he would quite often just play the introduction piece of it, where they're running along the beach. It's a great scene. And the music by Vangelis is fantastic. Classic. This is perhaps my personal favourite film ever. I just love it to pieces. And the score's pretty good as well. RoboCop. Yeah, love this film. Love the music from this. That march, RoboCop march. Yeah, big fan of RoboCop, and looking forward to when and if they ever release another one. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, who knows. It might happen. Buster. Yeah, this Phil Collins soundtrack. It's got one or two of the Hollies I think on here. And yeah, it's a bit of a mix of 80s and 60s. Yeah, I think it was a cheap find, you know, £1 or whatever. Why not? Why not indeed? This was a film I always wanted to see, and quite recently managed to see it. And then quite impressed with the soundtrack, and that's The Fisher King. This is a pretty good soundtrack actually, I have to say. You know, and the film was pretty good as well. It's got Harry Nilsson cover on here of How About You, and it's really nice. So yeah, I think it's got The Power by Snap as well. So yeah, I think that was an early 90s film. Excuse me. This is more of a recent find, and it's my last one on the video. Very good soundtrack. Film not so good. And that's Batman Forever. I went to see this film when it came out in the cinema. We went as a school class. And yeah, I was really impressed with the film as a kid. But watching it now, it's like, no, it's not particularly a good film. I mean, it's not terrible, it's not bad or anything, but it doesn't have the darkness as Tim Burton's original Batman films. But anyway, aside from all that, the soundtrack's actually pretty damn good. It's got a lot of good music on here. U2, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me. Seal, Kiss from a Rose. What else is on here? Flaming Lips, Bad Days. That's a really good tune. So yeah, if you can find it. I can remember when I was a kid finding this LP in a record shop we went into, and I kind of wish I kind of brought it, but probably couldn't afford it at the time anyway. But yeah, Batman Forever, and that is it. I haven't got too many soundtracks. I've got quite a few, but yeah. Do you have a favourite soundtrack? You know, there's one you could perhaps recommend to me. Put it in the comments below. Like if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.